Hey, how's it going, everybody? Aaron Sampson here with Spencer Mulder.
How's it going, everybody?
I saw in the chat somebody's like, Rob's finding any excuse to play Battlefield. He is, but it's going to be us playing today. Battlefield 1 is available for just about everybody starting tomorrow, but we've been playing it for about a week now.
I've early enlistment and all that fun jazz. It's been so much fun, and this game is really going to be amazing. We're going to show you some amazing parts here. Not only more gameplay, but we're going to show you some really early tips to help you guys get a jump start on the competition. So, you ready to jump into this thing?
Yeah. So the focus of our stream today, we've been playing for about a week. Spencer's been playing a lot of Assault. I've been playing a lot of Support, a little bit of Scout, and
I got a lot of Medic.
Yeah,
so we got
a lot of Medic.
Oh, yeah.
So between us, we've played most of the classes. We've also done a lot of vehicle warfare, and we wanted to basically show people kind of tips and tricks, and we will take questions, anything you want to know. We've been compiling lists of interesting things the game doesn't tell you. I'll start off with one while you're loading up here. The bayonet. Should you or should you not have a bayonet on your rifle? The game doesn't really make that super clear.
I definitely recommend having a bayonet on the gun. I mean, yeah, there has been occasions where people have said if you take the bayonet off, you're actually able to bring your rifle up faster to your shoulder. It doesn't really affect accuracy, though, and personally, I would rather have a bayonet as that extra melee opportunity, because I can't tell you how many times where I've shot at a guy, took out his buddies, but another guy showed up. I'm out of ammo. What do? You charge at him and you bayonet him, and that's so satisfying to do that.
So the interesting thing about that charge is that if there's an elite class on the field, the bayonet charge is the only thing that can one-hit kill them.
Right.
And I actually got killed earlier today with the flamethrower trooper. A guy charged through my flames with a bayonet and stabbed me.
And actually, for the sentry kit, when they have the armor on the front, you want to melee them in the back, because that's where they're vulnerable. I've actually had people try to melee me in the front while I'm playing as the kit, and they're just hitting armor, and one shot they're dead. So always remember, if you see an armor kit, wait for them to pass you and then try to bayonet them in the back. That's the best way to take them out fast.
So in the chat, Sneaky's saying you ADS faster without the bayonet. That's true. You ADS faster from a run. So I would actually say that if you are not finding yourself bayoneting people frequently, in my opinion, you're hurting yourself if you have the bayonet on the gun. If you're making the vast majority of your kills shooting people with very few bayonet kills in between, you're just slowing down your ability to bring up your weapon from a sprint every single time you sprint. So
yeah.
It depends. Like, if you're a big bayonet player, yes, but if you're not someone who bayonets very often, you should probably just go ahead and pull that off all your weapons.
Yeah, and you are, as you stated before, you are vulnerable after that charge. I know some people use the charge just to get from point A to point B quicker, because it is a lot faster than your sprint. But when you're out of breath, you actually are very vulnerable, not only to enemy fire, but also to aiming down your sights as well. So let's see if we can load up in here.
You also saved up one of the new battle packs.
Yeah, we're going to open up that probably in the next match. But yeah, no, I got one of the new battle packs. Been saving up a lot on that, because they actually have 3 different battle packs in this. So we're opening that in just a moment.
So just real quick, for those just joining us who may not be familiar with Operations, this is it's kind of like their new Rush Conquest mode.
It is amazing mode. This mode, yeah. So basically how this works is that you have battle sections. And in each battle section, there's 2 to 3 flags. And the object of this is to, obviously, the attackers to capture the flags and the defenders to hold them off. And this is probably some of the most intense fighting I've ever seen in a Battlefield game to date. I mean, it really is intense. So here we are. Here's my assault class. And as you can see, I pretty much had almost every single gun unlocked. The gun I have attached right now is the Model 10A Hunter. This shotgun, I kid you not, I think is one of my favorite shotguns in the game, and easily one of the most powerful. And also, too, is that gadget-wise, I have an AT rocket gun, which you used a lot. This gun's great for taking out infantry, but more importantly, it's actually great for taking out armored vehicles, anything out there that's on wheels. It's really great to use, and combine that with your anti-tank grenade, you're just going to destroy vehicles left and right. So it's a great combination to mix in here.
The other thing I like to do with the AT launcher when there are not vehicles on the map is I just use it as my glorified elephant gun / sniper rifle.
Yeah, no,
don't hesitate to use it to remove other players, particularly scout players.
Oh, hello.
All right, get in there, Spencer. Do you work with that shotgun that has a range of like 20 feet?
Yeah, pretty much, but I'm still going to try to see if I can flank these guys. Oh, this is bad. This is a wide open area. Let's see if we can try to get across here.
One of the interesting things is, so the assault class pretty much is the engineer class. like the first time we started playing this game, we thought that they had taken the engineer and split him up into the pilot and the tanker. But the truth is they really added the pilot and the tanker and the cavalry gentleman. They just handed all of the things that destroy tanks to the assault class. So the assault class has the launcher, the assault class has the dynamite, and the assault class has the mines. In my opinion, they should probably split those up between other classes. But for now, the assault class kind of is the engineer. Plus, he has the SMG. So he pretty much just is the engineer, and he's the guy you should expect to use against vehicles when you load them up.
Speaking of vehicles, we got one right up here.
Joshua is asking, what is the Hellfighter M1911?
The Hellfighter M1911 is actually a pre-order. It's the it's basically the cousin to the starting pistol you have, which is the, I believe it's the 1911. So the Hellfighter is a little more powerful. It's this gun right here. As you can see, it's all pimped out. It's all gold. Well, it was.
Did you feel like any of the pre-order weapons were in any way different or better? I know you almost recommended one in a video that we made. Nice. You almost...
Oh, no. Oh, no. Got him.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought that was a butt spawn there for a second, but I think he came out of the tank.
There's a guy right here, too, I think.
I've definitely found some inconsistencies in that danger spawn. So I think they started it maybe in hardline where you couldn't spawn on somebody under fire. I've been locked out of danger spawning, but I've also shot a man and had somebody butt spawn while I was... Damn, that thing has some good range.
Yeah, I love this gun. As I said, this is a... You get this actually... You get the different versions of this gun when you reach Assault Rank 2. That's the personal one, not the overall rank for your character. And then when you get to Assault Rank 3, that's when you get it.
So can you break it down real quick for people? How do you actually buy guns in this game? Because it's not the most straightforward process at first.
So you get guns in this game by unlocking war bonds, which you get every time you rank up. Now, when you first rank up, you get war bond. Did we get him? Yeah, we got him. Oh no, he's still alive. We get war bonds every time you rank up, but when you first start off in the game, you're going to earn around, I'd say, 60 to, I think, 100 war bonds per rank. And then when you get to past rank 10, that's when the game starts to give you a lot more. Oh boy, here's the guy right here. You get, I believe, 160 after you pass rank 10, and it continues to go up from there. I mean, there was a time where I had over 680 war bonds. Now, you're thinking to yourself, oh man, you can buy every gun in the game with that. But to be honest, I think a pistol costs 150. A good gun costs about 200 to 300, depending upon what it is. So you actually go through those war bonds pretty quick, and that's actually not counting the gadgets that it will cost you to buy in this game as well.
So you made a video earlier about kind of what weapons you suggested people buy first, just because of that really slow rate of accrual of war bonds in the beginning. Now the other thing is the experience that leads you to get the war bonds is based on these, what are they, medals or trophies? And unlike in Battlefield 3 and 4, they're not all active at once. You actually have to pick one of them to be active and work on that, what, one at a time?
Yeah, so you have to work on those. You have to take your time. Oh, my God.
How did you...
Oh, no, I'm going to die here. That's going to get me.
How did you live through that?
Got him right there. There we go. That was great.
And that is...
I have 2 health.
That is Spencer's endorsement of... Which shotgun is this again?
This is the Oh, God. This is the Model 10A Hunter.
The Model 10A Hunter shotgun.
Yes, you will... And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, this thing's OP as hell. Well, to be honest with you, this was close range to medium range fighting, but long range, this gun's not that great. I mean, it's a shotgun, so bear that in mind. But for maps like this, I would not pick any other shotgun above this. So this is definitely worth moving forward with if you plan to play as Assault for quite a while. This is the gun to get.
So we have some questions in the chat. How different is this from the beta?
So to be honest with you, the beta, we didn't get to experiment with many of these guns too quickly in the beta. However, I noticed that the explosives are a lot more powerful here and do more damage than they did in the beta. For example, the rifle grenade that you get for the medic, I feel like can do more damage.
Oh, you can blow through those walls, by the way. All these walls are collapsible.
I have no explosives though. I've only died once yet, so I have no.
I would say the biggest difference from the beta are like literally just the variety in the maps. I thought the beta maps felt very similar, and once you get into the full game, you have you have tight urban fights, you have large city fights, you have chateau fights, you have fights that take place in the countryside, you have like honest-to-goodness trench warfare. I just think the full release, as opposed to the beta, gives you a huge variety of maps and experiences that I did not experience. Like Sinai Desert to me was cool for a while, but then it got very samey.
Oh no, this is gonna get me. This is so gonna get me. That's gonna get me. Oh, I got an assist though.
Okay, so that talked a little bit about war bonds, how you get them.
Oh, I'm back.
The fact that you have to select your tracked metals in order to earn more XP to get your levels in your war bonds. Let's talk about the new battle crate system.
Yeah, so the battle crate system, what they've done here is that you can get skins and you can get puzzle pieces for special melee weapons so far. Oh man, that sucks for that guy. You get melee pieces for certain characters, for certain guns, that depending upon what they are, you can scrap them and gain more points to get more battle packs. Now, battle packs, to me personally, they're really cool, but you really want to try to get your way towards getting those puzzle pieces to unlock really great melee weapon, legendary melee weapons. I know they have one that's a club that has spikes in it.
We don't know if they're great. We just know that they look different. I'm not convinced that that's a...
Got that guy.
I'm not convinced it's like a big draw yet. We'll see.
I mean, we'll see, but I don't know. I really would like to give those a whirl. Oh, we got him. That was great.
You won the war.
Yeah, you could win the war with that shotgun alone. Yeah, so that's the model A10 Hunter for the assault class you just saw right there in action.
And when do you unlock that, or when can you purchase it?
You can get the variants at Assault Class 2, and I think the final version you can get at Assault Rank 3, I believe. Well, we can check that. But yeah, no, it's so worth it. It's so good. But there also are guns that, working your way up there, you should try and mess with that are pretty good as well, shotgun-wise. That's one thing, too, about the Assault class. I feel like the Assault class got way too many shotguns in this game. I mean, I like the different variants of shotguns, but it would have been nice for them to kind of explore further into the machine gun area. But, you know, what can you do?
Also want to give a shout out to people watching on Twitch as well. We're doing a Battlefield 1 tips and tricks stream. We've been playing this game for about a week now, so if you guys have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, we will just drop knowledge as we go. Spencer's played a lot of Assault. He's also played a lot of Medic. I've played a lot of Support and some Scout. So we can talk about kind of the differences in their gadgets over the years, how their gadgets are working now. You know what one of the most fun gadgets are right now? And I'm not even going to say that it's useful, but the Scout has decoys, which are hilarious. They're like these heads on a spike.
They're like crash head dummies.
Yeah, like dummies on a spike. And you can put them up, and if they get shot, they spot the person who shot them. But they spot like a player. So when you are getting into scout-on-scout fights, it's hilarious to put up a couple dummy heads and watch them get dropped and then see exactly where the guy was who shot them.
It's actually pretty funny, too, when you put so many of those in a row. Oh, here we go. Here's a battle pack. So this is actually a regular battle pack. Let's just open it anyway. Yeah, so you see on here on the screen on the right-hand side, these are different skins you can get and how rare they are. The ones that are in a bit of a reddish orange, like a little bit of a reddish brownish in the background, those are legendary. And the blue ones are also rare but more common. So we'll see if we can open those once we get out of the load screen here.
Ben the Barbarian is asking if Support's putting out enough damage. I've messed with Support's weapons quite a lot. To be honest, I think the best one is the M1909. I like the Storm variant of it. That thing kills dudes. The other ones I don't think are that good, except for the starting one, the Lewis gun. The nice thing about the Lewis gun is I think it has a really good sight picture. I think it has good damage output, and it has a faster reload than a lot of the other weapons. Plus, I've just discovered that if you're wearing your gas mask, you can still put your bipod down. So you are the most accurate person on the battlefield in a cloud of gas at range.
Which you'd think would be like, all right.
It's actually very useful, though, because I can't tell you how many times the enemy team throws gas at you, and they think that your ability to shoot them has been diminished. But if you are playing as Support and you go prone and deploy your bipod, you are laser accurate with the gas mask on.
Yeah, because normally when you're standing, when you put the gas mask on, you can't. There's no weapon you can aim down the sights with once you're gassed, when you have your gas mask on. So that comes really handy. All right, so that's another thing too about this game. Look at this. The maps are they're so gorgeous, and it really kind of pulls you into that conflict. I know we've stated this before in many of our videos and even in our live streams, but for us here, this is easily one of the best battlefields to come out in years, aside from Bad Company 2. So this is definitely gonna be worth your time if you're a Battlefield fan.
So this map on Operations has 2 blimps, correct?
You get to, so when you're the attacking team and you get held back, each match has 3 rounds. If the first round the defending team wins, the second round the attacking team gets the Behemoth, which on this map would be the blimp, the Zeppelin, and then if we hold them back again, the third and final round they get it again, and if we hold them back again, we win the match. So
a good trick for this one is when you start your unlock tree, once you get your good first starting weapon, you should probably head over to the vehicle section and pay attention to the artillery truck. Because the artillery truck, you can unlock the AA gun on it, and that can save your bacon on this map.
Yeah, no, that's definitely going to be one of the best things to do for this type of game. But hold on a second, let me just... I highly encourage you want to talk to your teammates, but because we're doing a live stream, we can't do that here. But yeah, definitely communicate with your teammates. I know that's kind of a hard thing to do in games like this. People have kind of become very silent on their mics, but for a game like this and any type of team-based shooter, you really got to communicate, guys. Like, just use those mics. Just say, hey, I need help over here. I need ammo. I need health.
So yeah, actually, unlike in Hardline in this game, you cannot walk up to a support player and just take ammo off of them, which I actually don't like.
Wait, we're losing objective.
Yeah. So you have to still play a good support player in this game. If you play support and you don't take ammo, you're not a good support player. Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. And if somebody's shooting their pistol at you, that's the universal battlefield sign for give me ammo.
Or if they're like jumping up in front of you and you can clearly see that they need help or they need something that you can provide them, just give it to them. All right, here we go. Here's that time to use that rifle grenade.
We did have some questions about buying premium. Should you do it? I don't know. I've become extremely wary of premium between Battlefield 3 and 4. I think if you buy premium, you're basically saying, if you buy premium, you're basically saying, I will like every DLC after this point. Even like I'll still be playing this game in 8 months and I'll still want to play that DLC, which I think is a fairly bold statement, because even people who love Battlefield probably won't buy or play much of the last DLC, like maybe for a week. And then why is that worth it? You basically just paid a bunch more money for something you didn't play. So I don't know. I'm not into premium anymore.
This guy's got the hold on a second. Takes a while to get the hang of this thing. I think he might be out of my view range. Oh no, he's booking it. He knows.
Oh, you have the mortar variant.
Yeah, the mortar variant on this thing. Or the guy who had it before I did. He basically bailed out of his vehicle to to capture the flag. Yeah, you don't need to leave your vehicles to be near the flags to capture them. And yeah, the fact that he just did that, now the vehicle's mine, and now his team's basically down a vehicle.
So one of the cool things about the mortars in this game, including the support class, is you follow the mortar visually as it goes over the battlefield, so you can see everything under it. And one of the things the game doesn't tell you is that you can actually fire mortars without going back to the view of the person firing. So you can actually just use an aerial view and do little manual adjustments without the animation completing, and it's a good way to like drop 2 or 3 rounds on top of somebody. Like if you get the first hit, that person might move. You should immediately fire again without waiting for the animation to complete.
All right, let's switch to this cannon.
Buck is asking, what are we playing on?
We're playing on Operations, and...
What console are we playing on?
We're playing on Xbox One. So, we've been playing on PC a lot lately. This is what it looks like on Xbox One, and obviously there's going to be some tiny differences here and there, but overall, both games play really well. Definitely been a big fan of both playing it on PC and on Xbox One. It's also coming out for PS4 as well. So hopefully we'll get a version of that up sometime soon. Come on.
I think this game was probably in production a little bit too late to catch Microsoft's crossplay initiative, but that would have been the sickest thing ever.
It would have been really cool. Oh, I got that guy.
Maybe next Battlefield.
All right, well, because I'm not an engineer, I can't really...
Although if you're support, you can wrench it.
Right. Unfortunately, I'm a medic, so... I put my team... There we go. Why would you stay in there?
If you are support, you must wrench it.
Yeah. All right, well, you know what? Because this wasn't our vehicle to begin with, I can abandon it. So that's another thing, too, to keep in mind is that whenever you have a vehicle that's belonging to your team and you abandon it, so long as it stays alive on the map, it will still count as a vehicle taking up that slot. So if you want a new vehicle in, you have to destroy it. So don't just leave vehicles that are about to they're low health just because you can't heal them, because so long as they stay on the field and still in one piece, they still count as taking up that vehicle slot. So this one, as you can see, I'm not destroying it because that belongs to the enemy. So that's their vehicle.
Nope's asking, will Battlefield 1 have offline bots? Not as of now.
No. That would be really cool, though.
That'd be
pretty sick, actually, because there are times where playing on multiplayer can be a little taxing. It's nice to kind of lay back and play against bots. I mean, it's possible, but is it coming out anytime soon? No.
Although, actually, I don't know. Do you consider the campaign bots? Because then yes, but not multiplayer.
The campaign is amazing. I think the campaign will kind of satisfy anyone's itch to kind of go solo for a little while. They kind of want to take a break. And also, the campaign is really good for getting you kind of warmed up, ready to go for the multiplayer in this game, because anyone who's new to the franchise or who hasn't played in quite a while, oh boy, that's gonna get me. This is gonna get me. Yep. Yeah, anyone who hasn't played any of the latest versions of Battlefield in a while, or kind of fresh to the first-person shooter area, they should definitely give the single player a shot, because the single player, actually surprisingly, is pretty good. I can't remember last time a Battlefield game with single player was that much fun to me, because I know personally Hardlines was mediocre and the past other Battlefield games weren't too great in terms of the single player, but this one they kind of done you see the war in different perspectives. So that's always pretty cool.
Hello to Bob Jones, who's joining the chat.
We have lost objective.
I appreciate the... he's asking... Or he's commenting that we are pro players. My KD has never been above, I think, 1.14. So if you find me on the battlefield, the chances of us killing each other are about 50-50. I do love this game.
Alright, he's in there. Alright, we're gonna move on. Also, the gun I'm using right now is a late unlock for the medic class, and...
So yeah, talk about some of the medic weapons, because I gotta be honest, I really did not like the medic guns. They're DMRs, and I think they jump, at least the starting one, jumps left to right in just a way that lets you miss a ton.
Oh, no. Oh, you got me.
So what are your tips on the medic class weapons?
The medic class weapons, they get better as you unlock them. It's probably the more streamlined class I've run into, to where every single upgrade, it gets better and better as it goes along. For the assault class, right out of the gate, you have very powerful weapons. For the support class, the starting weapons are, I think, the best you're going to get. And for the scout class, I would say every single sniper rifle, not almost every single one, can kind of hold its own pretty well. Some are better than others, obviously, but aside from that, the medic ones are pretty good. So, and by the way, oh, there we go. It's a whole charge.
Rob5490 is asking, how long is the campaign? What was it, like 6 hours? It's a series of vignettes. So the campaign is a series of several, maybe 5 stories. Each story has a couple of chapters in it, and then it moves on to another story. There's like an air campaign. There's a tank campaign. There's a...
yeah, they're not going to revive.
Yeah. There's a couple of sort of stealth...
Nope, he's not going.
On foot sections. In pretty much all of the campaigns have a stealth foot section. It's just kind of like an overview of World War I, and I think it did a fantastic job of telling personal stories and getting you engaged.
Yeah, see, this is... Exactly, this is also great too right here, because my team, they're dropping health, they're dropping ammo, they're reviving each other, and obviously in a game like this, for operations, the more players you have on the flag, the more you're going to be able to hold the position. So we keep reviving each other and keeping each other alive. So, oh, that was dumb.
Permy Frizzels is saying Recon's the best since they do the most damage with their guns.
That is true.
There's actually, so they've actually put in an interesting mechanic in this game that mirrors sniper rounds in real life. The Recon class does more damage at range than they do up close, which simulates how the bullet like slows down and actually drags through targets.
I would actually recommend that playing as the the scout class without a scope, and get used to using the iron sights, because the iron sights, the majority of the guns in this game require iron sights, as you see here on this gun. So the more practice you get, the better off you're going to be, and you can practice either with the You can practice either with the scout class or with the medic class. They're the best ones to practice using the iron sights on. I'm running out of ammo.
The other thing about the scout class in this game, formerly Recon, is the bullet drop is almost nothing now. Bullet drop is very minimal at this stage. So it's actually, I don't know, I hate to say it, but it takes a lot less talent to be a scout player now than it did before.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of depends on the rifle you're using. So, but overall, I would definitely say that it's become a lot easier to snipe in this game. But at the same time, too, it's not as much of a pain to deal with. I think a lot of people have always been kind of hesitant about snipers in this game because in past Battlefield games, anyone who was a sniper, it's like, oh man, they can one-shot kill me no matter what hit me in the body. In this game, it's not true. You can actually really, it takes about 2 shots in the body, and obviously if you get a headshot, it's an instant kill. But it actually takes quite a bit of practice to get used to sniping in this game.
We had a question if there's any sniper rifle that kills in one hit. I'm assuming you mean to the body. There's one immediately that's a battle pickup. I don't think we've gotten far enough into the unlock tree
Good job.
to find if there's a sniper rifle.
There is one actually that fires
Standard.
1 bullet. I got a chance to play when I went to the LA event.
But it's not a one-hit
It's not a one-hit kill, no, but it's pretty close. Like, if you get hit by this thing, you basically have to load in a bullet each and every time you fire a shot. It's not like a bolt action. It's literally where you have to load in a shot every time you pull the trigger. And it does, I would say, it can knock down about 80% of your health if you hit him just straight in the body, and it's an insta-kill on the head. But it's one of the last guns you unlock for the scout class. So I can't recall the name of it. I got a chance to use it for a brief period of time, and even so, with all that damage, I actually wouldn't recommend using that gun too much because you are pretty vulnerable each and every time you fire that shot, even if you do hit your target, because it not only is the sound amazing on that gun, but yeah, you're dead. Not only is the sound amazing on that gun, but it's also, it leaves you very vulnerable.
So a good tip for people who haven't played too much medic in the past is to heal. Make sure you heal yourself a lot too. You have you have medic packs.
Yeah, he's waiting for me.
Well, I don't know. We affectionately call the smaller ones medic snacks. Same with the support. They have the ammo, like creating the ammo snack.
All right.
But if you get into a gunfight with the DMRs, they're a little bit tricky to learn how to use. So what you do is you get into your gunfight, you break off if you're going to lose, and you heal yourself, and you come back at 100% and re-engage. The cool thing about that is the health regeneration in Battlefield 1 is much slower than it has been in previous Battlefields. So you actually have a pretty good advantage if you can heal yourself.
Oh, no.
Oh, that was coming at you.
His
These
teammates are coming to help him.
these craters are fantastic. These craters are like largely dynamic in this game. They're not there at the beginning of the round, and you can dive into these and do some serious work.
I think he's all right. Okay, so now this was the first round of 3 at this match. We held them all. We held them actually on the first. They didn't take the first sector. No, they didn't. We're still on the first sector. So now the attacking team is going to get their Behemoth, which will be the Zeppelin, and this will happen to them once in the second round and once in the third round. Once you destroy it, it is gone for good for the remainder of that round. So you don't have to worry about coming back. It does take a lot of firepower to bring this thing down. And most likely, I would say on average, if you're even with a good defensive team, I would say that a Behemoth can possibly push you back by 2 sectors. But aside from that, don't worry about it too much. Try to focus as much of your firepower on the Zeppelin as you can. Anytime people can try to use those AA guns that are scattered all over the place, try to use those as often as you can and give your teammates who are using those cover, because those are primarily the things you want to use to take this thing down.
Bob Jones is asking if we got a chance to use the baby gun. You have to be level 10 scout to unlock it. So we haven't quite got there yet, but we've seen plenty of funny videos about the baby gun.
I have been shot by it.
Yeah.
I was shot at it at the event, and as cute as it is and funny as it is, it doesn't do that much damage, but still, though, come the day that I get it, I'm going to totally use it.
It's good for the lulz, and that's
I
about it.
I think getting killed by that thing is pretty hysterical.
I mean, yeah, if you get killed by that, you were probably just sitting there laughing hysterically as you were getting shot, because other than that, you probably will not get killed by that.
Oh, there he goes. He's on fire. All right.
In the chat, we're talking about the Martini Henry, which was the level 10 scout weapon. That's the one I think you load in the top that you were talking about. You played it in the
Yes,
review event.
Right, yes.
So it's still not a one-hit kill to the body, because it goes up to about, what, 90? And then there's damage drop-off. Well, it's weird. So, like, a lot of the... He's doing the dance under the gun. So, yeah, again, like, a lot of the scout weapons, the bolt-action rifles, they actually do more damage at a specific range. So maybe at that specific range, if you master it, it could be a one-hit kill, if not to the head. That's kind of the sweet spot people are talking about right now in the chat. The sweet spot is the perfect range at which scout rifles do their maximum damage, not the body location necessarily.
Oh, yep, we lost it. So, Yeah, another thing too is that once you take over a sector, if you're the attacking team, any defenders that are still in that sector get shown up all over the map, both on your mini-map and also on your screen. So for defenders, once the sector is taken, I know it's preferable to try to take as many attackers as you can, but be prepared that they do know where you are now. So just keep that in mind if you want to stay in a sector that has been lost, because they will know where you are every single time until you leave.
Mason Venture is asking, yo, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like this game? Funny you ask. So our rating system is basically 1 to 10, and we gave it a 9. The official score from GameSpot was a 9. As a longtime Battlefield player, I totally stand by that. I think they have mastered the basics of Battlefield in this game. I still think there's room for the Battlefield formula to grow, but I think this is a masterful version of a Battlefield game.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with... I mean, to me, this is one of the best Battlefield games to come out in recent memory. It definitely trumps Hardline's Battlefield 4 and 3. And to me personally, I still love Bad Company 2 a little more. Oh, he's on fire. Yeah, but is this game definitely a major improvement over the past 3 Battlefields? Easily. Hands down. It's one of the best. If you have been dying for a new Battlefield experience, this is the one to go for.
Coyote Stark is saying he doesn't really want to pay $20 to play the game 3 days early. You have a $5 option. If you choose, you can do the EA Early Access 10-hour trial, which then your progress saves over to your game. So if you can't wait another day, you can pay $5 instead of $20 to play early.
Yeah, and that's actually really... I would even say that's a pretty smart move on EA's part, because that gives people a chance to, because I think they kind of realized that Hardline and even Battlefield 4 were not their biggest successes. There was definitely a lot of problems with those. So they're kind of saying, hey, you know what? If you're still on the fence about trying this game, you know, here's 10 hours. I mean, you get to play for 10 hours. You get to play 2 single-player campaigns, or part of the campaign, and then you can jump into multiplayer. And anything you do, as you stated, gets brought over to the full version. So if you fall in love with what you're playing... Holy cow. Yep, see, that's what happens when you focus your attention.
Zeppelin goes down.
It goes down. And wherever this thing lands, oh boy.
You don't want to be.
I don't want to be. So.
Oh, it's coming down on the chateau.
Oh!
Wow.
That's beautiful. Oh,
and
one guy died.
Revive that man.
There you go, buddy.
So in the chat, people are asking if we want to talk about actual World War I. I will say this: I'm not a big historian. I think we do have some people like Mike Mahardy who love history. But I will say that I think the campaign did World War I justice. There's actually some great moments in the campaign. Uh-oh.
That's weird.
There's some great.
Whoa.
No. There's some great stuff in the campaign about the futility of war and how individual lives were meaningless. I think that's one of the reasons why they chose to do, 5 stories instead of 1? Because if you were one person, you would have just been gunning through all of World War I and killing everybody. But playing as multiple protagonists basically let them make it uncertain for you as to whether that person or people who they cared about survived.
So I think it's really cool, too, the fact that you get it from different perspectives of the war. Because for me personally, I love history, but the fact that you can actually play as the Italians, you can play as the Australians, you can see from different perspectives. You can then jump into, you can then join up with Lawrence of Arabia and get the idea of how the war was over there in the Middle East. It was definitely, for me personally, I love that kind of stuff, and I really like the idea that they paid attention to it and they cared about the license that they were working with. And, I mean, is this, dead on accurate to World War I? No, I don't think so. I think a lot of these, even the weapons, I'm pretty sure a lot of these weapons were designed probably around that time, blueprinted, but did they ever see action? Did they ever see combat? I don't know. I kind of doubt it for most of these guns.
The guns themselves and the weapons are sort of fantasy World War I. They're things that would not have been commonly used or ever used in World War I. I think most of World War I, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think most of World War I was bolt-action rifles still. There were some bolt-action rifle conversions that were too expensive for armies to use in mass to make them semi-auto. You did have the invention of the machine gun, which was big, but I think most people died from artillery.
Yeah, I mean, well, I would just say artillery. I would also say the mustard gas. Gas was so horrifying. Oop, that was pretty horrifying too. That gas was so horrifying there out on the, especially on the Western Front, where countless rows of soldiers were killed, but also deformed by all that gas. So it was horrifying to see.
On a lighter note, Julian Salas is asking, how do you get squad suppression kills? This is funny because I'm actually working on that one right now. Trying to get suppression kills in Battlefield 3 and 4 and Battlefield 1 always drove me nuts because as a support player, you basically just have to fire over a bunch of people's heads and not kill them, which doesn't make any sense for your play style. But if you want to get suppression kills, you basically have to focus on wounding, not killing people, and just play with a squad who can mop up. Because if you kill them, I don't think you get the suppression kills. And that is to basically unlock one of the challenges that leads into your ranking system, that leads into your war bonds, which lets you buy weapons and tanks.
That's
and
pretty
such.
tough. That's a pretty tough one to get, to be honest with you.
I've never liked that assignment. I always thought it was a bad thing to ask people to do. I'm very cognizant of a developer asking players to do things that don't necessarily help their team win, because a lot of people will do them to get the points and they won't put out for the objective. So
yeah, no, I also feel too is that aside from other Battlefield games, this game really does focus heavily on teamwork, and also more importantly also too on flanking, because of the size of the maps, especially in operations. Especially on operations where the maps are so huge, like the sections are so huge, you can literally go anywhere, and they've put kind of secret entrances into buildings or certain ways. Like you could actually go down in the basement of this complex and come out right on top of one of the flags. So you really have to be aware of your surroundings. And let's see if I can get this guy. There we go.
Stabby stabs.
See, that's why I want to keep a bayonet, because you never know when you'll have an opportunity like that. You got me.
Hello to Killer Walk 11 over at GameSpot. Thank you for joining us. For anybody else who's just joining us, you're watching a Battlefield 1 stream. We're talking about tips and tricks. If you have tips and tricks, feel free to put them in the comments. We've played as most of the classes combined. We've been playing this game for about a week now. Spencer went to the review event. So, yeah, the rest of you are going to get this game who don't have some of the premium editions tomorrow. And then everybody can murder each other in a nice World War I setting.
That's always so nice.
Yusuf is asking, what's the strongest weapon in the game?
Ooh, that's tough.
I think it's... Okay, so I'm going to cheat because actually I'm going to go into the some of the battle pickups or the elite classes. There is the... I'm going to have to look up the name. There's a sniper rifle that's basically a tank hunting sniper rifle that you can pick up, and it not only murders any player in one hit, but we've seen it shoot down airplanes in one hit. And it can take down tanks in several hits, but it is so satisfying.
And if you don't even kill the pilot, if you even shoot the plane's engine, it disables the engine. And the plane, until the pilot can repair the engine, he can crash and get killed by that way too. So, all right, here we go.
Although my favorite new weapon in the game, at least in the beta, was the horse. I know the horse has taken a bit of a nerf, which is sad. But man, I love the horses. The horse is so much fun. I mean, it depends on the map. It needs to be a wide open map. But getting saber kills is probably one of the most satisfying new things in this game.
We got gas. Oh, no. Everybody okay? Everybody good? Yeah, as you can see, when I have my... Or when I'm not getting shot. When you have your mask on, you can't actually look down your sights. So until you take the mask off.
But actually, one of the interesting tips that we have for you is if you play a support and you put your mask on, you can still go prone and use your bipod. So you are more accurate than anybody else at that range. Oh, you can also go prone under the horse swing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We've experimented with that, too. If you go prone when a guy's taking a saber swing at you, you can actually get under the horse.
You know what's interesting is that I was running around as the horse, and that little reticle you have with the saber, you actually have to be very delicate with where you aim that when you're swinging with the saber. In the beta, it didn't matter. You could swing that thing all over the place. If you were just in the same, I guess say, bubble of the enemy that you're trying to hit with, they will automatically get hit by it. But they've changed it in this one in particular for the final version to where it's very, very picky where you're going to swing and where you're going to hit. So...
Oh, you're not doing the thing that we actually always recommend people do, too, which is... I guess it's less important in operations, but always be asking for orders. Always give orders if you're the squad leader, and always ask for orders if you're not, because you will get significantly more points for doing the things that you were already doing, basically.
Ooh, we're on fire. We're on fire. Oh, boy.
Yeah, incendiary grenades returning from Hardline. Actually, there's quite a few things in here that I feel like were developed in Hardline, such as the incendiary grenades, being able to shoot airplanes with small arms, fire, different types of melee weapons, heavy and light. Those all came over from Hardline, so even if that game wasn't the biggest success, I think that they took some of the interesting developments from Hardline and put them into Battlefield 1.
I mean, you can definitely tell they took some influence from a lot of the old Battlefield games, but I think how it all came together, it came out, I think, really well done. Yeah, by the way, this gun, I believe, is called, next time we get a kill, we can take a look at it.
Leo wants the game to give some Canadian love. Maybe in a DLC?
Maybe.
I see no reason. Hey, Rainbow Six Siege had Canadians who are horribly, horribly overdressed for every other
Maybe we'll do a whole
map.
Canadian campaign. The Canadians played a part in World War I. Maybe we'll do a whole campaign about them.
Yeah, that was the question. I guess stay tuned, because I don't see a reason why they couldn't expand into
We're
other
going to get flanked here.
other factions and other DLCs.
Oh, man, I got 1 health.
The cool thing is right now you're having a close quarters gunfight, but this map is huge.
Yeah, no, we're just trying to hold off one part of a larger map. So, I mean, we're surrounded, that's for sure. So we're not gonna hold that one for much longer. But the object of this one is that we're dwindling down their reinforcements, because unlike, say, in Rush, when you take a sector, or when you take, say, 2 crates in Rush, the game automatically replenishes your reinforcements. In here, it doesn't. So it may give you a few, but not a lot. So once you take over a sector as the attackers, if you lost a lot of guys, you're still going to be down a couple of people. So you got to be really making sure that you're coordinating with your team to take these flags quickly, because if you don't, guess what? You're going to be out of luck here pretty quick.
Roman Sander, interesting question. Did you guys also think they used the worst map for the beta? I thought Sinai Desert was actually a lot of fun. The first beta was on St. Quentin Scar, which I thought was a very safe map. It wasn't the most exciting, I would agree. It also depends on what mode you play St. Quentin Scar. I think St. Quentin Scar on Conquest is a very safe but not super interesting map, but I think it's really cool on Operations and a couple other modes.
You know, I would actually disagree. I feel like that map in the beta, like it made me excited for this game, but it didn't get me like, how do I say it? Ooh, that's cool.
Oh, the flame tank. Yeah, I mean, like,
tank, that is awesome. Yeah, but no, I just,
yeah,
it didn't get me, like, I was excited for Battlefield. I was excited because I'm a Battlefield fan, and I was like, okay, this is fun, this is cool. But then once we got a chance to, at the event, when I got a chance to play on maps like this, and we got to play Operations, it changed everything. I'm like, okay, this looks great. This looks like fun. This is what we're going to be playing, and I can't wait for more. I didn't get that same type of feeling from the beta, but now that we're getting a chance to play this, it's amazing. It's so much fun. I can't wait for all you guys to give this game a try. Yeah, this gun's okay. So, ooh. By the way, just to let you guys know, if you're playing as a medic and you want to level up quickly, reviving teammates gets you a lot of points. So take a risk, go out there, save teammates' lives. Please.
Also,
it will help you guys immensely when you're attacking, keeps the lines moving forward, and defending big time as well.
Also interesting to point out, if you take the health snacks with you instead of the health packs, you can just throw them at people directly. So you target them, and then it auto hits them with it, and they get health right away.
There are actually times you'll see it like auto track. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen one I could throw one, and he's like, it follows him all the way there. I'm like, all right, that's a little weird, but hey, it gets the job done. You still get the points. All right, so now we're on the 3rd round of this match, and they, as you can see, they get their Zeppelin back. I think we're going to win this, though, because we took it down pretty fast the first time, but who knows? They may hold us off here. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you're on the attacking team and you're in the Zeppelin or Behemoth, you shoot down, when you can bomb the AA defenses, once those things are destroyed, they're gone for good. I have not played a round yet where when they were destroyed, they spawned back. I've seen players try to take out wrenches to try to repair where the turrets were, but because there's a fat crater where those turrets used to stand, they're gone for good. So if you are in that thing and you're piloting it and you see someone, say, using one of these, fly over and drop a bomb on them, and that gun will kind of be gone for good. So here we go.
This is also why it's extremely important, though, to get your anti-aircraft artillery truck. So, yeah, if you do find yourself fighting a Zeppelin, or blimp.
No, he's gonna get me on this.
Dirigible.
Yeah, we did.
One of them is a rigid and one of them is a non-rigid, and I forget which one. But if you find yourself fighting a Zeppelin, as an AA gunner, you target the individual compartments underneath that are shooting at you first. Because if you take those down, they can't fire back at you.
So they do spawn back in the blimp, but it buys you and your team time to continue to open fire because those guns up there can actually tear apart infantry really quick. So you really want to focus on shooting those parts off as soon as you possibly can. So as you see right here, that's our tank. It's still functional, so I'm going to destroy it because it's still taking.
You want it to respawn?
Yeah, I want it to respawn. So, but oh man, that thing took a lot of damage. There we go.
Also, hello to the people in the GameSpot chat. We're taking questions from both GameSpot and YouTube.
Oh, no. Oh, he went right for me, too.
It was funny, actually. I think in one of the early alphas, there was a prototype where you could jump on top of the tank and throw a grenade in the hatch, and nobody was really sure if that was intentional or not. I'm a little disappointed it's not in the final build, because I think it would have been nifty to let players do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe the tanks went down too fast.
Maybe. Got him. I want to save that guy, but I know their enemy's like... Ah, got me. Definitely gonna... You know what? I might change up class here so we can show some stuff here. All right, so here we have the support.
Giovanni's asking what mode we're playing. We are indeed in operations mode, which is the new mode to Battlefield. It's sort of a combination between Conquest and Rush. Maybe similar to Conquest Assaults of the past, but on multiple sectors. Frontline's Fuel of War. I don't know. It's a little bit of all of those. It's Rush. Yeah.
I would definitely say it's a definitely combination of Conquest and Rush smashed together. But I think it takes the best aspects of those modes and makes something really cool. Now, this is really cool. I love this as a support class. You can get different types of mortars, and some do damage better than others, but overall it's a really great loadout piece to do. So let me just actually... This is the gun you were talking about earlier.
The M1909 is my favorite support weapon. I think it just kills people the best, but it also sacrifices large ammo capacity. So the other one I've been using is the Lewis Suppressive.
Right.
I started going through all the other support weapons, like the bar, and I wasn't really that impressed. So I'd recommend not spending too much money on the guns up front in support.
And when do you get the bar? Like, what rank do you have to be personal rank for the support class before you get the bar?
I think the bar's around 3. Let me pull it up real quick for you. I'm still working my way to
there
the...
you go. See, now it just broke off right there.
Nice.
Sorry to interrupt you on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you shoot down the turrets like that, it actually kills both the people inside of it, and it falls right off. It will spawn back eventually, but it buys you guys time to then take out the other one and do some more damage on this thing, because we gotta bring this down fast. We're actually down to our last sector.
So to answer your question, the bar M1918 trench variant I do like, but it has one of the lowest ammo capacities of all support weapons with 20. It's good on 1v1s, but I don't know. You shouldn't really be playing support for the one-on-ones. You're supposed to be laying down accurate bipod-mounted fire on enemies and suppressing them. Yeah. Although suppression's pretty minimal so far in Battlefield 1.
Cool. Yeah, you can also disable the engines. It slows the Zeppelin down. You take out both engines, it stops still right in the sky. So
Julian Salas is asking how often do you bayonet charge? So this is, for people just joining us, this is one of the things that we talked about earlier. So you can actually pull your bayonet off of your weapon. You have that choice. If you pull your bayonet off of your weapon, you shoulder your weapon more quickly from a sprint. So how often do you bayonet charge an enemy is up to you. It's up to your playstyle.
Drop a bomb on me.
There are advantages to bayonet charging, such as it's one of the only things that can one-hit kill elite classes, which is very important. But if you are not somebody who's finding yourself bayonet charging very often, you should probably pull it off because you're hurting your speed to bring up your weapon from a sprint in the whole rest of the game.
All right, we're down to our last base now. Gotta take this thing out fast. All right, we already got enemies showing up.
Ooh, best meta gun. I got a question for the best meta gun. You played the most medic. What's your opinion?
That gun I was just using, I think it was called the auto reload. I can't think of the name right now, but we'll go back to it in a moment once I die again. So hopefully I don't die anytime soon. But yeah, that gun to me is one of my favorites. It doesn't have very high damage, but it definitely has a high rate of fire. And I mean, it's a single shot weapon, but I feel like I get the most bang out of my buck for that gun. So
the auto loading, there's several variants. The 8x35 factory, the 8x25 extended.
All right,
There should be one other one in here.
All right, let's take a look at it then.
8x35 marksman.
And it is this one.
I would say that the starting medic weapon is tough to handle, so I would at least recommend getting that second one, the M1916 Factory. It's a lot more friendly.
And what's great too is that you can actually. So what's interesting too is that, as you just saw right there, you can go in there and do a slight customizations to your guns. We can still you can take out the magnification of how long down the range you can see. You can also adjust for some guns how the recoil reacts. You can have it, instead of going down the center, it can affect on your left, it can affect on your right. So it's little tidbits here and there. It's not very deep customization. It's a little disappointing about that, because I know a lot of people were looking forward to really, can I put a scope? Can I put 2 mags on? Can I do that kind of stuff? But for what's there, it's okay. It's not amazing, but it's definitely something that I think kind of gets the job done.
It's pretty cool. Steven is in Cape Town, South Africa. He's saying he can play in 12 minutes. He's waiting 12 more minutes to play the game.
Well, hey, man.
Good luck to you, sir.
If he jumps in, go for operations. They have all the modes here, too, as well. But what we're playing here is operations. And every operations mode you jump into, it starts off in a cinematic fashion. And depending upon what side you're on, you're going to hear it in that nationality's tone. So keep that in mind. So if you join as the British, you're going to get a British narrator. If you join the Germans, you're going to get a German narrator, and that's through every single map. So it makes you invested more into the side that you're fighting for. So, and really good dialogue, really good script writing in this too.
So we have questions in the chat about customizing without getting into a multiplayer match. I would say that's one of the downsides of this game. You still can't do that, nor can you customize in between rounds, but you can use Battlelog, which is just released, I think, yesterday. It's not ideal, but you can customize with Battlelog on your computer or using the mobile app in between rounds. I think it's kind of industry standard these days to let people do it in between rounds. So
yeah, but still, it's to me that feels like kind of like I don't know. I think that's up for debate. But yeah, let's see here.
I would mark the game down on that regard, because I want to be tweaking my loadouts all the time.
Yeah. So for those of you who were asking about the medic rifle, this is the one I'm using right now. It's the auto loading 8.25 extended. Now the reason why I like this one over the others, even though the others have more damage actually and hipfire, I'm looking at control. For any of you out there who've been playing this game, the beta or even the early trial version, a lot of the medic guns have crazy recoil. So I like this one in particular because it has so far the best control out of the variants of this gun.
Why don't we show customization too? Because actually, I don't want to just say everything's like great in this game. We gave it a 9 out of 10. There are some things that I would mark it down a little bit for. I think they kind of phoned in this customization a bit for now.
I can change from 2 different sites.
There's only 2 sites.
Great, yeah.
You can change magnification, which I don't even think conceptually makes sense, but that's cool from a gameplay perspective. Yeah. And you can pull the bayonet on and off. And then on some weapons, you can choose left, right, or center recoil. But the damage stats in the lower right corner don't reflect any indication of what you've done. So I don't know. The customization they can definitely work on in the future. It's not there yet.
And you can definitely tell that they focused more on what they could give you in terms of firepower than they would on customization, which I think was nice. I think that's good,
but past Battlefield games have had quite a lot of customization. It's not there at launch in Battlefield 1. So I love the maps. I love a lot about this game. They have some work to do on weapon customization.
Now, this was the gun you were talking about earlier for your support class, so let's give this one a whirl. It doesn't have very good damage, but it's also got really good control. This guy right here is using the mortar. I'm actually join him a bit to use ours because we're on the defensive. So that's the other thing too, is that depending upon how the outcome of a match goes, since we lost, we are now defending in a different part of the map now. But this is basically continuing down our multiplayer story. So this is actually what happened to the Germans in World War I, where they lost that battle and they got pushed back to the Argonne Forest. So this is actually part of history. Did history play out like this? That's up for debate, but this is the closest you're going to get. So it's actually kind of cool that how you progress in operations is how it happened in the war. And if you, say, win a battle that in history your faction lost, the game actually tells you a narrative of, well, if they had won, we think this is what would have happened. So that's pretty cool. It's little details like that I think is pretty cool.
Leo actually has an interesting question about heavy artillery being in the final build. So there's one thing in Rush that kind of counts as heavy artillery. In Rush mode, the defenders in Battlefield 1 can arm the crates too. Technically, it's not arming the crates. When they arm the crates, they call in artillery, and any attackers who are spotted by your team can potentially be killed by artillery strikes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing Rush, make sure if you're on the defending team, you are both arming your own crates for the artillery strikes and spotting people to get hit by it. Other than that, though, the next closest thing is the support class has a high explosive mortar that's marginally effective versus vehicles.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that since it takes time to rank up individually for your different classes, I've noticed that when you play in Rush and you use that, if you go to the crate and activate that artillery strike on targets that have been spotted and you get the kill, you get a truckload of points. Like I actually ranked up pretty quickly playing Rush a few times for getting my assault and my medic class up pretty quick. All right, so.
Nope, taking fire.
Taking fire, yep.
Guy kills this. He was like right on top of you.
You got me right there. Yeah, that was smart for you to deploy that in the middle of the open. Yeah, let me go to this.
We have lost objective apples.
But yeah, no, I'm enjoying everything about this game, really, to be honest with you. There's definitely a lot of shortcomings on it, but in terms of just sheer fun, I really have not had any bad moments in terms of multiplayer to me. And anytime I get killed in this game, it's my fault. You know, like on some games where you get killed, it's like, oh, well, that person killed me because they had, a homing rocket or a trace bullet, or they had something special that they used. No, in this, if you die, it's because, hey, I made a mistake. I should have, zinged when I should have zanged. I should have ducked. I should have done this. I should have done that. So you have to play smart in what you choose to do.
Although, we did have that one interesting moment during the week where you fired a rocket at a tank at a very steep angle, and it bounced off.
Yes.
And we had to go look up whether that was intentional or not. And I know, I recognize this has happened to other people, including YouTubers, and they also had to go ask the developers. So the answer is that it's intentional. In this game, if you fire your rocket at tanks at a steep angle, there's a risk that the rocket will just bounce off the tank, which is kind of interesting.
It's interesting, but it kind of sucks when you're in the middle of a fight, you're trying to take down a tank, and you shoot it, and it ricochets off, because there's really no warning of that. It just happens sometimes, so it's weird. So, but yeah, overall, oh boy. Yeah, this is getting pretty.
Matt's asking if there's any sounds like body specific damage. No, not in Battlefield 1. You can't get winged. It's not as specific as like Arma or a game like that.
Oh, revived. Thank you. Oh, nope. Nah.
We have people in the chat eagerly awaiting the countdown. We're within 5 minutes of them being able to play the game in Central Europe.
They're dying for it, because I can't blame them. This game is awesome.
3 minutes.
3 minutes and counting. You can then run around in the Argonne Forest and kill each other. Ooh, that guy just fired a... Ooh, that was actually kind of smart.
Okay, so the one that we're still experimenting with is the flare on the Scout. So there's two types of flares that we've played with so far. There's a blinding flare, which is actually a lot of fun. And then there's a regular flare, which will set people on fire and spot. But we're still kind of experimenting with how the spotting works, whether it's line of sight, whether it's active as soon as it flies, or whether it's just kind of area effect.
Right. Come on.
So there's a few things that we're still experimenting with. But anybody who didn't join us earlier, we've been playing this game for about a week now. It just opened up, I think, about 3 days ago for early enlisters. There was the early access trial for 10 hours. And then tomorrow is when everybody else can get into it, which is actually in 3 minutes for Europe, apparently.
Also, too, is that if you have the extra war bonds and you like playing a support, I recommend getting the ammo crate. That way, not only yourself, but your teammates get ammo too, and it doesn't disappear. Because if you use those little packs, the moment someone picks them up, either you or a teammate, it disappears. So you're going to want to make sure that you have that. So let me make sure I get that equipped. There we go.
Hello to In-Game Instincts over at GameSpot.
All right, I'm going to... Ooh, we're getting flanked. Yep, we're getting flanked.
Suski wants to know what price you get the game for, or you can get the game for. I don't know. I've played Battlefield for a lot of years. My personal opinion is don't buy premium editions.
Yeah, wait to see what happens.
Just buy standard edition and
don't do it.
And get your enjoyment out of it. Because there's a very good chance you won't buy the last DLC 8 months down the line anyway, and it's actually just like a good deal for you to buy individual DLCs.
Yeah, and then I think the last time I bought a premium edition was on Battlefield 3, and I regretted it after a while because not only did my friends and I kind of stop playing it after a while, but it just, when you think about it down the line, it's like, wow, I just wasted, what was it, $50 or so on some added DLC that, frankly, half of it was good, the other half was terrible. So
if you're a super fan and you know it, then and you have the money for premium, then go for it. But it's not necessary at all.
All right, we're whittling these guys down. So, yeah, here comes the gas. So
Julian's asking about barbed wire trenches, digging holes. Well, you can dig holes with bombers and tanks. If they blow up, there's some real big holes that happen in this game. No barbed wire ability, although, I don't know, it kind of seems like something that they could add in as a class ability later on for one of the classes. It would actually make a lot of sense to have barbed wire.
Oh, I think that's a flamethrower guy right there.
Digging trenches, no, but there are a lot of trenches in this game there for you.
Oh, flamethrower guy right here.
Oh, and you're the one class that does not have a bayonet charge.
You're gonna die. There you go. Got it.
You can bayonet charge elites and kill them in one hit.
Oh, God.
Zachary's saying it's sad how premium splits the player base.
Yep.
My problem is how premium splits the player base literally. Like later on when premium players have the game and they have new maps in rotation, players who don't have premium physically cannot join that rotation. So I hope they fix that in this one. Because I do think it splits the player base, and that's a missed opportunity. And I think in a way, Rainbow Six Siege was very smart.
Nice. Good work.
With the way that they did DLC. To let everybody always play all the time and not split the player base. So, yeah, I'm not going to defend premium for a second.
I think the idea of premium started off okay, but then somewhere down the line, very quickly after I think they messed with premium, it got out of hand. Like paying $50 for promised DLC, pretty much. Like, oh hey, trust us. We're gonna get something out there that you're gonna enjoy, and it's gonna take about a year for all of it to come out. But yeah, go for it. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't function well with me at all. So it's nice to know that you don't need premium to enjoy a game like this. And I think in past Battlefield games, you can buy the DLC separate. So if there's something in the DLC coming along that you like, but you don't want to buy the whole thing, I think you can buy it individually. So I'm kind of hoping they do that for this.
The first map is also free for pre-orders, I believe, and it's like you can't not pre-order the game for the most part. Mm-hmm. So there's at least one. They've done this every Battlefield where there's one map that everybody gets up front,
which is good. All right, let's see how we did.
Do you want to try a round of rush? Let's do a round of rush.
Yeah, let's do a round of rush. That way we
I
can
want to show people
what's up. Oh, flag defender, cool.
Show people how rush is a little bit different.
Right.
This is the screen that annoys me to no end because I can't do anything while I'm here other than look at my stats.
Well, it's also too is that when we were playing on the other map, I wish it combined everything you did, like all your kills, all the deaths, and everything. You get like an overall look. So I mean, you can view it somewhere, but it'd be nice if they combined it. But yeah. So this is operations. So
I'd say
really
it's
fun stuff.
I mean, I would say operations is one of the most unique modes.
Mm-hmm.
Although actually, I haven't played messenger pigeon. War pigeons. I thought you were the first time.
You're kind of sending. Well, you are sending a message, so that's pretty close.
The first time you told me about war pigeons, I actually thought you were joking.
No, I wish. I was.
Should open a battle pack. Yeah.
I mean, a war pigeons. It has its moments. It's fun. It's a keep away match.
I'll try it.
So it's up.
Oh.
I opened it, but yeah.
Yeah.
We can view. Oh, so we can view it here. So I have 660. Let's open up an enhanced battle pack. Why not? Let's see what's in this thing.
Give me that hot crate opening animation.
So here we go.
I love that somebody Dice was like, man, it'd be so sexy if we could just have this great crate opening animation.
This big. That looks way too fancy. Nah, that was not worth.
Nah, you got a fancy pants skin. Distinguished.
For a gun, that's going to take me a while to get to. I don't know, I'm going to scrap it. You do have the option to scrap these things at any time. It's not just where, I take it now, but I change my mind later. You can always scrap these at any time, so you're not permanent. So these are the legendary melee weapons we were mentioning earlier. So now you get puzzle pieces. And once you collect 5 puzzle pieces, I'm assuming that's when you can get to use this thing. As you can see, I have 1 puzzle piece so far, and you get these puzzle pieces by opening battle packs. Now, if you don't want it, you can then scrap it for 270 scrap pieces. So it's up to you. You can choose to do that. Okay, I actually would like to switch to the defending team. Oh, I can't. So
that hurt a little inside. I have that gun. That would have been real fancy pants on my gun.
That would have been cool for you, but not today.
We had an earlier question as to whether people could bring over their what is their icons from Battlefield 4? Not just your dog tags, your actual, the one that you drew.
I'm not sure. I don't know about that. I'm assuming you should.
I haven't found it yet, but I will say that by the end of Battlefield 4, 99% of those were butts. So you can just leave your butts at home. I don't need you drawing butts in my kill cam.
It makes you just want to kill them more, though.
It was like 99% butts. People got really creative with shapes and made butts out of things I didn't even think were possible.
All right, so one quick little note here about being in the light tank, which is this little guy here. To me, this is one of the best tanks you can run around with, mostly because of the fact that it has 2 different firing variants. It has the regular tank shell, which is the one I have equipped right now. Then it has the one where it's kind of like a shotgun shell. So this one's perfect for hitting that tank if I can slow him down.
Oh, we had a question earlier that I totally didn't answer. They asked, how do you get to the bomb sites on plane? It's actually just switching to the bomb, and then, well, at least on mouse, it's just right trigger. Gets you to your bomb sites.
Boom.
I kind of stopped using bomb sites after a while, though. I think you're better off just kind of eyeballing it from third person.
There's a guy right here. Yep.
Because to get to sites and out of sites is a couple of button presses, but if you learn to eyeball it in third person, it's a lot faster.
Yes, I love this thing, this shotgun shell. This is the great, anti-infantry killer. Didn't even know I was there. That's funny. Oh, hello.
You got a tank right there.
Nope. Reload time on this thing's kind of brutal.
So, we did have a question about trenches and craters and such. Craters appear in this battlefield dynamically as things explode, which is, in my mind, is pretty incredible. Like, that wasn't there before your tank blew up. Because the craters get used
I can do another one.
as cover. I mean, you could probably intentionally. Oh, you got the cowboy gun. You should show people this.
Yeah, no, this is pretty cool. So this is actually, this gun actually is really cool. It's the Pepper M1893. This is actually looks like a Western style gun. It's basically it kind of looks like a revolver. I guess you could say revolver rifle. So you guys can say that with this. So it's pretty cool. I really like this gun. So the artillery truck is great too for taking down the Zeppelin or any type of aircraft, because when you go into your customization options, you can actually buy different upgrades. So you can attach a mortar to the truck or an anti-aircraft cannon also on the truck. This I highly recommend when you want to take down aircraft, especially when you're playing in operations. This is the go-to vehicle when you need to take down a Zeppelin very, very quickly. You need to take down bombers too. So
I'd go as far as recommending you invest in some of the armor unlocks before you bother with guns too much, because it's more useful in more scenarios. Once you have a good gun for class, I'd stick with it and spend your money on, or your war bonds on, grenades and tank and plane variants for a little while.
Oh, he's still going. All right, come on. Oh, nice job. See, yep, right there. He's got one too.
Leo's asking, what do you guys think about the tank pilot cavalry classes? I don't think it was worth them getting rid of the engineer, although the assault just is the engineer, to make those individual classes. I've got mixed feelings about them. On one hand, there's far few people stealing your airplane to fly it to some sniper nest and just wasting your airplane, which is a big problem in other battlefields. On the other hand, you used to be able to level the class you were playing with no matter what vehicle you were driving. And when you choose those classes, you're just leveling that class. So I don't know. Jury's out. I kind of have mixed feelings about those individual
I mean, it
classes.
makes sense as to why they did it, because they wanted to kind of congest them a little better. But Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that. Now we got the cavalry.
Movement over at GameSpot's asking, are all the vehicles historically correct? Or
I would
artistic
say-
license?
I would say the majority of them are, but in terms of their speed, they're not accurate at all. I know
Yeah.
that giant trench tank, that thing was slow as hell.
It went
that
at
thing did not
three-
go fast at all.
3 miles per hour in real life.
Yeah.
It's like a walking pace.
It played a part in the war, but did it play a significant part? Not to a lot of people's knowledge. Oh, ooh, flat cannon.
Most of the weapons and vehicles in this game are future World War I, so they would not have appeared in any numbers, if at all, in World War I, because they were either blueprints too expensive for militaries to buy, or just came into development later in the war, or their handling characteristics are way better than they would have been during World War I. So, based on history, but taking a lot of creative license.
Yeah. So now we're going into the scout class here. Now this is the flash gun. This is awesome. I love this thing. This thing can blind your foes, and if you hit them with it, which I tend to do a lot, you light them on fire.
The groom of the stool is saying horses weren't that fast until at least the 50s.
Oh my god. All right, let's see if we can get it back in the fight here.
Yeah, tanks at that time were unreliable. They only went about 3 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Fun historical fact, they had a lot of rivets in the tanks.
Yeah, so that thing, for example, that goes way too fast.
And the rivets would actually kill people inside the tanks when they would get hit by shells. It was a bad design. And they were super hot, and you would not have been wanting to be in one.
You wouldn't want to live very long in that thing. All right, so let's see if we can get up here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this reticle didn't exist either. Or this sight on this gun, I should say.
We had a question. We had a question about, is flying hard? So it's interesting. In the beta, I thought flying was super easy. They've done something. I can't quite put a finger on it.
They put more weight to the plane. I feel like it takes it's a lot harder to turn.
Yeah, the turning's slower in the full release. Maybe they'll dial that back.
The attack plane. I mean, you have 3 different types of planes. You got a bomber, and you got the attack plane, which is good for fighters, and then you got the kind of universal plane that can kind of attack anything around both ground and air. And for me, aside from the fighter variant, the other two, it takes a long time to turn in those things. So especially when you're dogfighting, it takes time getting used to that. All right, these guys are right over here.
I would say, though, compared to other battlefields, the planes are more friendly because they're slower. They handle a little bit better than planes in previous battlefields, which were fast. And quite frankly, I think planes in Battlefield 3 and 4 were pretty disconnected from the ground game, whereas I feel like these planes are a lot more grounded in a similar fashion to the helicopters of 3 and 4.
Right.
Although, I don't know, I love the World War I theme. I will always miss helicopters, though. Helicopters are the best.
Helicopters is pretty fun, but I think for what they have here, I think they've done a pretty good job.
I'll have to settle for horse.
We don't have a helicopter for you, but we can give you a horse. Oh, here we go.
Andrew's asking, what's a good class for beginners to start with?
I would say assault for sure.
Yeah, assault.
Assault for sure, because they're the more universal type of soldier, and I think they can kind of handle almost any situation. Anytime you have an enemy vehicle jumping on you, you have basically 2 weapons to take out a vehicle with. Machine guns are pretty good, and of course you got the shotguns. I would then say next play as a medic, and then move on to support. Then I would kind of save scout for last, because as fun as it is for those bolt action rifles and they're so powerful, it takes time to use them. It really does. It takes a while to get used to it.
To be fair, again, they've gotten rid of a lot of the drop in scout, so it's easier to be a scout player than it was previously in Battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, assault is probably the least, the one you don't have to team play as much with, because you're not required to give other people anything as assault. You just basically go forward, kill things, and you've got all the anti-vehicle weapons. So yeah. Although Battlefield is a game about team play, so once you master that, you should start to play as support classes like support and medic, because they make a huge difference in this game.
Right. Also, too, is that if you guys have any modes you want us to try, you want to continue playing Rush or go back into operations or try something new, feel free to let us know. We'll be happy to jump into that.
Got a question about how the guns are, whether they're well optimized or if you get destroyed if you start now.
How do you feel about that?
I think the guns, just what you said, we actually had this conversation. I think the guns are well balanced between classes, and each class has only specific weapons, unlike previous Battlefields where there were carbines to bridge the gap. But I don't feel like the classes have that much variation within them. So I don't feel like it's worth wasting too much time just unlocking every gun within a class. I think once you have a good gun, you'll know it, and you don't really have to experiment too much. So, no, you won't get destroyed. I think there's good guns in every class, except for starting as medic is pretty hard, actually. I'm not going to lie. I think that starting DMR is pretty rough.
Yeah.
So maybe don't start as medic.
Yeah, the starting medic stuff is tough, but once you do get past that kind of bridge, things do start to look a lot better for you. So now we're defending.
So Wallach is asking, what weapons does each class start with?
You start with the trench. I know that the assault class starts off with the trench machine gun.
I think he's asking about classes of weapons. So assault has the SMGs and shotguns.
Mm-hmm.
Support has their more traditional light machine guns. Medic is restricted to DMRs, which is an interesting, and I don't know how I feel about that choice. I think you've been having a really good time with it.
Yep.
Scout has... So far, Scout has only bolt-action rifles. I don't think they have anything.
He didn't. Oh, crap.
Bad weapon.
Ooh, bad time.
Yeah, use those field guns, too, man. Oh, he's got a flamethrower.
That flame variant, man, I'm telling you.
If anything, I think what you might get stomped by are people who have bought the better tanks and better airplanes. Like the tank-killing airplane is an airplane, a light airplane that fires freaking tank shells.
Yeah, but the thing, too, though, is that don't be discouraged if you're jumping into this thinking, oh, man, people have already been playing this for hours and hours with that early enlistment stuff. I don't think I'm going to stand a chance. That's not true. The weapons that you start off with, are they the best? No, but you can still hold your own. You can still do what you can and get the job done. So
see if you can...
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. So when you come down one of these objectives, you can call down a transmitting...
Oh, that was a mortar.
That was a mortar. So what you saw right there is I'm trying to call in coordinates. So anytime that you or your teammates have spotted enemies, when you call in a artillery strike at these crates, at these radios, they will drop in an artillery strike. And anytime you get any kills with that, you get tons and tons of points. It's actually pretty ridiculous how quickly you get these points. All right, they're making a...
We had a request for the baby gun. Unfortunately, you have to be a level 10 scout. We're not quite there yet. But it's a pistol that you unlock at level 10 as scout, and you can buy it. It's hilarious, mostly useless weapon. But I recommend you...
It's pretty useless, but it's so funny to use.
You did get to use it in the Battlefield review event, which was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. I was shot at it. I was being shot at, but with
so far,
and it really didn't. I got hit 5 times with it. And I turned around, and the guy was trying to reload, and I hit him in the face with that melee weapon and killed him. But it was pretty hysterical.
So far, I haven't found any hidden guns in this game. You know, Hardline and Battlefield 4 both had some had some secret challenges. We haven't found one of those yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they did them though. Man, that flamethrower tank just started showing up today.
He's just basically showing up everybody right now. All right, we gotta fall back.
We had a question about graphics on Xbox One. You're looking at it. This is we're playing on Xbox One currently.
Yeah, I played it on PC as well. Is the PC version a little bit better? Yes.
It's pretty gorgeous. Yeah,
it's pretty great. But from what I'm seeing here, the Xbox One's no slouch either. I mean, you're not gonna get some of the best visuals this game can show, but overall, it gets the job done pretty well. All right, so hopefully I don't die again.
So in Rush, you can now arm the crate as a defender, which sends in an artillery strike.
Yep, so we just called in an artillery
strike. So spot that dude.
Oh.
We'll see if it...
Yeah.
We'll see how it does. The thing that I noticed the most on PC, oddly enough, was sand. For some reason, the sand just very granular and like gorgeous, and you notice that because you actually spend quite a lot of time in. Oh, let's see what happens. You spend a lot of time in craters. That guy's asleep at the horse.
Yeah, no kidding. I definitely weakened him a lot though.
Can't answer the question about HDR being supported. I know that that's something they're trying to bring to the PS4 Pro, potentially Scorpio. I do know that I think it looks gorgeous. In general, I was not impressed by Battlefield 4, and I'm impressed by how this game looks. It's the first game in a while, I don't know, outside of like Uncharted, that I've been just genuinely stopped and looked at things while I was playing.
Yeah, this team's getting pretty wrecked.
The enemy has armed objective.
We got a question about how many hours we put into it. I gotta look it up. So far, we've each put about a week into the game, although I haven't had a chance to play every day.
You know, this team's getting wrecked. You know, let's go back to operations.
Nope.
Let's give that one to that. Another whirl. You up for that?
Do what you need to do, man.
Yeah, I think it's better that way. I think, like I said, people have seen Rush, they've seen Conquest. Wanted to tell you guys about what you can do for that radio call-in. But overall, operations, I think, is where it's at. I think that mode's what's going to really add to the longevity of this game, and it kind of shows the best it has to offer as well.
We have a question over at the GameSpot chat. Is this the biggest Battlefield ever, or still baby steps compared to Battlefield 2? The claim was that some of these maps are the biggest maps ever. Although
Battlefield 2 is such a classic, though.
I think was the biggest one in 3 was Bandar Desert, I believe. Was Bandar Desert. So I don't know, like I will say this, a lot of these maps are large. A surprising number of these maps are large. I remember Battlefield 3 and 4 had several maps that were small close quarters maps, and they've managed to pull some of that off in this game on large maps, which is what I like in Battlefield. Okay, we're going to do one more round, and then we're going to wrap up here. So I know we have Europeans currently frothing at the mouth to go play the game. It should be starting to go live there now, according to everybody in the chat. Any last tips and tricks or questions you have about the game, we'll get them in this round, and then we're going to go ahead and sign off.
Wow, this map's one of my favorites. This one, you actually are fighting in the mountains, so that's definitely an add-on for any of you out there who love the kind of more majestic feel of battling up in the Alps in the snow, even though there's no snow, but pretty close.
Yeah, the Alps map is actually one of my favorites. It's like a mile or 2 miles long.
Yeah, no, it's pretty big. Hopefully when we get there.
The loading screens. It's better than loading screens in 4, I can tell you that. I think I timed one of them at 3 minutes one time, and that was to get into the test server.
No, yeah, no, that was pretty crazy.
Like Test Island, it took me 3 minutes to load into it.
All right, looks like, we're... All right. Looks like
All
this
right.
team's on the final push.
So we're going to go a couple more minutes into this operations map, and then we're going to go ahead and sign off. Wish everybody in Europe the best of luck getting into their Battlefield games.
I'm sure you're going to enjoy it as well.
Favorite weapon so far? We had that question earlier. I'm going to cheat on that one. My favorite weapon so far is the anti-tank kit. It's a giant, like 50 cal sniper rifle you pick up that you fire from a prone position that can down airplanes in one hit, or disable airplanes in one hit and murder anybody you shoot it at. Wow, that took out a large portion of the map.
The final objective is within our reach.
All right.
That's what I'm telling you. I mean, if your team doesn't focus on taking down that behemoth quick, it could be a real nightmare for you and your defending team. So really you got to coordinate. You got to work with people. All right, we got to...
All right, bring it home, Spencer. Into the Alps. I like the fact that a lot of these operation and rush maps do have very distinct sections, which was a throwback to Bad Company. They feel that they actually go through... They tell a story as you go, which is cool. I mean, this is ending in a fort.
Yep.
It definitely did not start in a fort. It started
down in
the mountains.
Yeah.
Went through bunkers and then ends in a fort.
You guys trying to close the door on us here.
Channel of Everything's asking, can you play this game on your own, yes. I would say even more so than other strategic games, just because there's 64 players in a match. People in Battlefield, well, it does skill match, but people in Battlefield are generally pretty good at playing their roles, giving ammo out and health out, and you can have an impact on this game as a solo player. Although less than, you can do some of the 40-person matches, you probably have more of an impact. And Rush, which are, what are they now, like, what's the player count for Rush?
I think it's 24.
24, so you can definitely, if you're a really good player, you can have a big impact on a Rush match.
Alright, whoa. Alright, they're right above us. No. Ah. Yeah, this is their last base, so they're going to fight everything they got now. So, but once we capture this flag, it is over.
And this is the last sector of something like 5 sectors.
Mm-hmm.
So this map is really long.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty tough to get to this part of the map.
I think some of these operations can last 40 minutes. Oop.
Oop.
You had him.
Yeah. Pulled the trigger and nothing happened. I blame the gun.
You're the last battalion. I will say this looks like a very nice vacation destination.
You know, once they clean it up a bit. Get rid of the debris and all that stuff.
Once they get rid of all, the bodies and stuff.
Yeah, we gotta get them.
It's funny, this is because it's a World War I setting, because there's grenades, I keep finding myself wanting a trophy system from other games that blocks grenades.
Yeah.
But there's no way you could conceptually have that in this game. Although Scout does have a, like an iron plate they can put down, but it probably won't stop grenades. Leo's asking, what do we think overall of the game? I think it is a finely honed and well-crafted Battlefield game. I think Battlefield is a franchise that still has room to try new and creative things beyond just sort of being masterful at what it does. But I think this is one of the best Battlefield games that I've played in quite a long time.
It's one of the best for sure.
I'd honestly love it if Battlefield in the long run would take some pages from PlanetSide and have 3 factions fighting and a mode with an open world that you fight between areas.
That would be interesting to see for a Battlefield game.
Yeah, like I think if Battlefield wanted to really take some huge chances, they could do that. But I think as a Battlefield game, this is one of the most finely honed and well-crafted Battlefield games I've seen in a long time.
All right, we're down to our last 30 guys. So if we don't pull this off soon.
Last battalion's down to his last 30 guys.
Yep.
You know what's kind of cool, actually, about the end of these operations, too, is it gives you a little bit of narration at the end to tell you what would have happened if one side, or what they think would have happened in the real war if one side had won or lost. Oh, this is the...
this is the sniper rifle you were talking about.
This is my favorite sniper rifle in the game.
I don't think it's going to do much work here, but...
Yeah, you need to be...
This is not...
You need to be bipod deployed to use it, so... Probably will not do too much work.
This could, on the other hand, though, sawed-off shotgun. That might actually come in handy.
This is one of the elite classes.
I like that. The guy's shooting through a window.
There's actually a surprising number of windows and doors you can open and close in this game. And there's even ones you can lock, which is pretty hilarious.
He was going to try to bayonet me, but he got my buddy. So, I appreciate the... Hello. I forgot.
Gotta be prone on that one. Somebody saved you. You were killed by space.
All right. All right, we're down to 9. Damn. I don't know. It's gonna be really close. Oh, damn.
Yeah, if you're also if you're enjoying the stream over at YouTube Gaming, Feel free to like, subscribe. Let us know if you enjoy these sorts of streams. We've been streaming Battlefield all week up until launch. We love doing this, and if you do too, let us know.
Also, feel free to check out more of our features as well. We've done a lot of stuff covering Battlefield, and we're continuing to doing more as the months go on. Guy got me.
Here, let's
And I
hear
think
it.
that.
I'm gonna turn up the sound here so people can hear the narration.
But our honor remains, for you fought well. Hold your heads up high, and know you did all you could.
One can only spec